All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're skipping the dry business theory. Instead, we're going to break down a real-world idea from the ground up, how you can take something you love, like creating amazing gifts, and actually turn it into a profitable business.
I mean, who hasn't asked themselves this question, right? Ever dreamed of being your own boss, taking an idea you're passionate about, building it with your own hands, and making it something real, something that's all yours? Well, in this explainer, we're going to look at a super creative and honestly pretty accessible way to do exactly that.
So here's the game plan for today. We'll start with the big idea, look at the good and the bad, the opportunities and the challenges, then we'll map out a real plan for making money, and finally, we'll give our verdict on the whole thing. Simple as that.
Okay, first up, the gift hamper idea. And let's be clear, this is about way more than just throwing a few things in a box. We're talking about crafting an entire experience. Now, check out this mission statement. This is what makes it powerful. It's not just about selling stuff, it's about creating meaningful, personalized gifting experiences. I mean, who doesn't want that? It's about joy, relationships, and even responsible consumption. That's a mission people can really get behind. And these values, think of them as the business's North Star. Creativity, customer happiness, quality. These aren't just words on a page. They guide every single choice you'd make, from the products you pick to how you price them. It's the DNA of the brand, really.
All right, so the idea itself is solid, but, a great idea needs the right timing. So let's talk about the opportunities. Why is now such a good time to get into something like this? What's the wave you could be riding?
The biggest thing pushing this forward is a social trend. Personalization is king. Seriously, think about it. Nobody wants a generic off-the-shelf gift anymore. We all want something that feels special, thoughtful, and unique. And this business idea, it taps directly into that feeling. And what about the money side of things? Well, that's where it gets really interesting. You don't need a ton of cash to get started. No expensive storefront, no heavy machinery. It's a low investment idea, but because you're adding that personal touch, you can actually have some pretty high profit margins. It's a sweet spot. Plus, the tech we have today makes it almost easy. I mean, think about it. Instagram, TikTok, these are basically free marketing tools right at your fingertips. You can show off your amazing hampers, do those satisfying unboxing videos, and with digital payments, you can run the whole show, marketing, sales, everything, right from your phone. And you absolutely cannot forget the environmental angle. People care about sustainability now more than ever. So if you offer eco-friendly packaging or you source your products locally, that's not just a nice little bonus. That is a huge selling point that can make you stand out from the crowd. And last but not least, getting started officially isn't the headache you might think it is. A lot of places have made it pretty simple for small businesses to register and handle taxes, so you can focus on being creative instead of getting buried in paperwork right away. Okay, so that all sounds pretty great so far, but let's be real. It's never that easy, is it? Every business has its challenges. So now it's time for a reality check. Let's look at the hurdles you'd have to jump. So remember how we said everyone wants personalization? Well, the flip side of that is really high expectations. People want it perfect. And on top of that, you've got the classic retail roller coaster. You're slammed during the holidays and then crickets. You need a plan to get through those quiet months. Then there's the economic stuff. Inflation is a big one. Suddenly, the cost of everything, the baskets, the ribbons, the goodies inside, starts creeping up, and that eats right into your profits. And don't even get me started on shipping costs, which can be all over the place and really hurt your bottom line. And yeah, social media is a great tool, but you've got to know how to use it. It's not just about posting pretty pictures. You need to know about digital marketing, maybe even running ads. And the scariest part, an algorithm on Instagram or TikTok can change overnight, and boom, your visibility just disappears. Remember that eco-friendly selling point? Well, here's the catch. Being green usually costs more green. Sustainable stuff is often pricier and sometimes harder to find. So you've got this tough balancing act between being sustainable and keeping things affordable for your customers. And finally, there are the ethical questions. How do you make sure the people you're buying from are treated fairly? What do you do when you see competitors cutting corners or using fake products to undercut you? Sticking to your values when things get tough? That's a real challenge. All right. We've seen the good, we've seen the bad, we get the lay of the land. So now for the million-dollar question. How do you actually make money doing this? Let's get into the plan for profit, your blueprint for success. First things first, you need a target, a real number to aim for, not just make some money. In this case, let's say the goal is 100,000 Pakistani rupees a month. That's a solid number. It turns a fuzzy dream into a clear mission. So the question is, how do you get there?
Here's how it breaks down. Step 1. You need to sell about 70 to 90 hampers every month. Okay, how? Step 2. You build a killer brand on social media. Step 3. You promote it smart. Run seasonal deals, and here's a pro tip. Team up with local micro-influencers who have a really loyal audience. Step 4. To get that steady income, you go after corporate clients for recurring orders. And finally, step 5. On every single sale, you maximize your profit by upselling things like handwritten notes or fancy packaging. See, each step logically leads to the next.
So, we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? We've looked at the idea, the opportunities, the risks, and the plan. Now it's time to bring it all home and ask the big question. What's the verdict? Is this really a good business to get into? When you lay it all out like this, it becomes super clear, right? You've got some amazing pros, like high demand and low startup costs. But you've also got some serious cons, like inflation and needing those digital skills. It really just comes down to that classic question, is the reward worth the risk? And that brings us right to the end, to the one question I can't answer for you. Now that you've seen it all laid out, the huge potential for creativity and profit, but also the very real hurdles you'd face, you're the only one who can decide. For you, is the reward worth the risk? That's what it all comes down to.